Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. Yeah, the first step is showing up, hear them cheer. Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. We're blowing up, hear them cheer. If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another level, you are ruthless.
It's a beautiful day in CASCAIS, much lighter winds than yesterday. Was the first day yesterday, day 2 of the Rolex with TP52 World Championship. Top of the table, Sled leading by a single point from the French team on Paprec, who had a big race win, beating American Magic on the final run. We caught up with Loic Perron, who tells us he doesn't like champagne. So Loic, a small glass of champagne last night perhaps?
No, sorry, just water. No, because why? Because if you drink champagne only when you win races, that's not a good way of life.
So maybe you should always just drink champagne.
That's it, whatever the result. No, I don't like champagne, that's the problem. I like to pop the bottle on the podium. I would dream about that, I've done few, but I don't like the champagne. I'm not a good French little froggy, no.
Oh dear. Anyway, but good for the team to win a race.
Yes, that was such an amazing day, I should say, for everyone. Maria did a very tremendous job because it was very tricky to set the course in this tricky and windy and no windy area. And then the first race was not so bad, I should say. We have a very good speed downwind and a good ambiance on board, a good spirit family. And on the second one, the beauty was that we had no electronic, nothing. A big blackout on the boat. 10 minutes before the start, we asked for a delay. We didn't find any way to resolve the issue. And then we start with no numbers. Nothing, no data. That was amazing. The feeling was back. We had to feel. We had to do a little differently. The weather conditions were quite good. Quite steady, let's say, to not have to trick anything. But no numbers, that's very interesting. A blind test.
Good for you.
And then a good speed, and the way we passed the leaders, the world champion, that was good.
Talk to us about that stage then. What were you saying?
In fact, very early, before the jibe, I really felt we were fast. Cedric and the team, and Cedric is helming very, very well in the waves, and the boat is fast. And then matching jibe, and let's pray for a few seconds, and it was okay.
Tell us a little bit more about sailing in the waves with Cedric then. What's the key?
He knows how to steer very well, a boat like that, like a lot of other helmsmen, but he knows that boat. And the way he knows, that's it. That's you have a lot of helmsmen, you have a lot of sailors everywhere in the world, but you have some guys like that, able to feel. He's an offshore racer too. Match racer, offshore racer, and he knows the TP since many, many years. So, and till today, until a few years, it was not easy for him to show his talent for a lot of other reasons, the boat, sails and whatever. It's time. He's on stage now.
Now you have all the tools in the box.
Yes. I don't know. Sometimes the box is empty.
Exactly. What about today then? Can you do it all again?
No. The beauty of that game is that you're sure of nothing. And it's going to be a little more tricky maybe, a bit less wind. But you have to adapt in any kind of condition. But for sure, that's a symbolic moment important. That's not the first win of the team. That's the first one of the season. We won one last year only. It's not only a matter of winning a race, as we all know. That's a matter of being consistent, which is more and more the case for us.
Small change to the back. You've got Jean-Marie Doris doing the runners now?
Yes, that's interesting. Jean-Marie knows a lot those kind of boats. And the first time we were sailing together. And he's doing well. The funny thing is I have to calm him down because he was not exactly used to the way we are working all together. And he got a big mouth, so shut the mouth.
Perfect.
Merci.
So from Paprec, a French ocean racing legend, Loic Perron, moving on now to the regatta leader, and it's Adam Bichel from a very, very famous Australian sailing family, America's Cup sailor, skiff sailor, 49er Olympic sailor. This is Adam. So Adam, how are we feeling this morning? A little bit of pressure being on top of the table, maybe, perhaps, possibly?
Nah, hopefully not. No, we're enjoying being on top of the table. So, and today's a new day, so we don't know where we'll end up on the table at the end of today. So we've just got to think about today.
How's the weather today from your perspective? What have you heard?
Pretty nice. It's nice, sunny. The ride up to the coffee shop this morning was very nice in particular, and the forecast is actually a little less breeze, maybe a little bit further left. We'll see what the sea state brings us today, but hopefully still some waves because they're good fun out there. Makes it interesting, but other than that, it should be 2 good races today on time, hopefully.
Tell us about the challenges for you steering the boat, generally. Yeah.
Keeping it going in a straight line is always a good thing, which isn't always easy with the waves, but it makes it a little tricky but fun at the same time. And just, it's a combination of the whole team. It's not just the one person driving the boat. Just the communication between myself and the trimmers and the afterguard, where we're going, and the hiking of the rest of the squad. Their contribution in the grinding is just huge. So it's definitely a team game.
You were saying wave selection is important. I mean, you're a skiff sailor, a surfer, and all that kind of stuff. That all helps. What's the essence of it? What's the skill? What makes a difference, helming?
Don't fall off the back of the waves and keep on the front side of the waves, because that's where all the speed comes from.
Easier said than done, but what's the technique?
It's a team effort, just the communication, the coordination of making it happen. The helmsman can try and put the boat in one position, but if the sails aren't being trimmed and the grinders aren't listening at the same time, well, that's all it takes to fall off the back of one wave. And then, that's in these conditions, and today may even be more so because it might be on the crossover for proper surfing versus VMG running. It can be, 2 boat lengths on one wave can be a big difference.
A little potted history of your career so far in terms of skiff sailing and 49ers.
Spotted everywhere. Try and make the most of every opportunity that I can. A lot of 49ering, and then also my son's been doing 29ering, so I've been watching a lot of that. All similarities. He's
a bit of a talent, I believe.
Well, most kids are a talent at that age, sort of thing. It's how they develop from here as it will be the end result. But he's doing a European 29er regatta right now, which is fantastic on Lake Garda. So he'll be up against it today as well. So hopefully we can kick 2 goals in one day.
Great stuff. Well done.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And the good news for Platoon Aviation fans is that Doogie's back. The bowman had a tough day yesterday, was in hospital overnight. He's been checked and he's going back on the water. So, Doogie, first of all, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm a little bruised and battered and pretty sore leg, but I'm alive, so we're going to count that as a win.
What happened?
Series of small mistakes, but I went out to go run a new kite sheet after we had a little issue. We had to cut a sheet, and I was coming back off the prod, and wave caught me and pushed me down, basically fell down under and got jammed in the bobstay, and basically got dragged upside down with my foot or my leg jammed in the bobstay.
Nervous moments for you?
Yeah, there's a little realization that this was not a great situation there for a little bit, going upside down, getting dragged by the boat, and then thankfully I was able to finally clear my leg and pop out the back. And super thankful to the umpire, which I got to go thank for pulling me out of the water.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm super sore. We have a backup plan with the team. I'm going to try and sail and see how we go. But, it's the way it goes.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And now a look at the weather for the day with Nacho Pastigo from the Preveza, a real scientist. So, Nacho, the weather today is looking a little bit more gentle after a pretty tough Baptimus fire.
Luckily, yes. Well, it's been great. It's been good fun being out there in 24 knots, 25 knots, and having the boats sailing downwind like in a blast. It's been great, but on the other hand, every time you were doing a maneuver was saying like, okay, are we going to land safely or is going to be an adventure? It's going to end up very bad. So it's not bad to have a change for today. It looks like it will be, well, here we also models tend to get it wrong, but it looks like we will not see more than 20 knots today, so that will be a change.
Mean wind speed then over the 2 races?
It will depend a lot on when the race committee decides to go. It's going to be like yesterday, much lighter inside, and outside I would say possibly 14 knots average for the two races. Maybe the first one a little bit lighter and the second one a little bit stronger.
And how's it been with the Brevetza so far? You've been having some adventures.
Yes, we have been having still some adventures and still doing a big job of discovering the new boat and testing new things. So we feel that we are still scratching the surface. We are reminding ourselves about P10 when we launched it in 2018 in Croatia. Was our first regattas, and the boat didn't look very good, and we ended up in 23 and 22 having a very, very good boat. So we remind ourselves like, okay, let's keep it thinking that we need to learn and need to evolve. So that's what we're doing.
Hortals is going to be your regatta.
Yeah, but that's normally we perform well. If we don't have problems with the rig, we normally have a good performance there. So hopefully, all the ducks will be in line for that one, and we could be better successful and stronger.
Now, in very simple terms, explain us the Portuguese trade winds.
Oh, this is very, very interesting because it's like a standard feature that stays here every summer, and you have these northerly winds that are almost fixed. The only thing that changes from time to time is the intensity. It gets from strong to very strong. But normally they are here the whole summer. The only way you can avoid them is there is one particularity, that is that the cold water of the Atlantic gets out of the bottom of the surface very close to the shore, and sometimes if you need to sail up the coast against the wind, you go very close to the shore, the cold water prevents the wind to get that strong very near to the shore. But here it bends around the corner, and instead of dropping, it accelerates. So it's you have this local effect of the trades in this corner of the world, and it's fascinating.
Caused by the Azores high pressure?
It's mainly driven by that, yeah. And normally you have a low pressure, thermal low pressure sitting on top of the peninsula, and those two are the ones that generate this stable trade.
And how are we feeling about today?
We'll see. Again, little changes from yesterday, little learnings from yesterday, and changes that we'll see if they work better or not. But the fleet is getting very interesting because you cannot make mistakes. There's no weak boats anymore. So if you make a mistake, for example, in the start and you have a bad start, you're not going to recover. The speed is not going to get you around the other boats.
Nacho, have a good day.
Thank you very much.
And now let's have a look at the highlights from yesterday. Everyone in the world of Grand Prix sailing comes to CASCAIS in Portugal for wind, and it's windy. It's going to be windy, it's going to be wavy, and there's really high hopes for this Rolex TP52 World Championship 2025. We've got 11 boats competing from 9 different nations. We have 4 past or present world champions. Will there be a 5th? So the first race of the World Championship, the conditions are fantastic. Breeze is at 3:30, about 20 to 22 knots on the start line. 1.8 mile beat off the start line. Well, it's all about getting out to the right early. Sled got a great start along with Allegra. Gladiator are not too bad off the pin end of the line. And round the top mark after a good beat, Sled leading from Allegra, then Gladiator, Platoon and American Magic all overlapped. But Sled jump away down the first run with a big acceleration, great conditions, and they have a big lead by the leeward gate through the finish line. It's a win for Sled. Allegra gets second, American Magic third, but a technical breakdown for the 3 times world champions, Platoon Aviation, who come through in 11th. Second race of the day, Breeze is the same direction, probably a little bit more on the start line. American Magic make a nice start and up the first beat. They are the early leaders. It's a battle between Sled and Paprec and Allegra all the way up the first beat. But round the top mark, a nice lead for American Magic. Sled round in second, Paprec in third. And it's American Magic leading all the way and down the final run until Paprec catching them. Paprec just managed to overpower American Magic to take their first win of the season for Paprec. American Magic gets second, Sled get third and lead the regatta. So after 2 races, Sled leading on 4 points, Paprec second on 5 points and American Magic third also on 5 points. So it was a quick look back to yesterday and yesterday's conditions. Pretty big waves, pretty big winds at times. But this difference between the left and the right of the upwind and downwinds was key to the day in many respects. Louise Vancer is on the water. It's breezy once again, Louise. I think you've got about 17 or 18 knots and quite big seas offshore. How's it feeling for you?
Andy, I'm out here and yes, it's definitely windier than everyone expected. With all the navigators I spoke this morning, they thought, oh, we will have like an easy day, 14 knots, maybe an average. No, we're definitely back to 20 knots, maybe even more in the gusts. And there's, they say out here less than yesterday, but it's still pretty wavy. And it was interesting to see because most of the boats, they had prepared for like a medium wind range, so most of the boats actually changed their entire sail setup out here on the water. So mainsail they changed, jib they changed, and also Jenneker to adjust here to the stronger wind conditions, Andy.
Now, Louise, I was seeing that Sled have requested 5 minutes for a problem. Do you know what that is?
No, Sled is just in front of me here. I can see them doing something on the boat, but I don't know exactly what they asked for the delay. Maybe they're still changing something on their sails, as most of the boats actually changed their sails here. But I think they will be good to sail very soon. I think it's interesting that the wind is coming in so strong, to be honest. I kind of wonder why. I spoke this morning with Alvaro Marinho, the strategist on Aikido, and he's from Lisbon actually, so Portuguese. He knows this place so well here, and he explained me that the high pressure over the Azores is a little bit more west, and that's why also the wind is a little bit more west, so the direction is more to the left than we had the other days actually. And that's why he also expected it to be a little bit lighter, but with beautiful conditions, I mean 20 knots, sunshine and waves, so it will be a very, very good day, Andy.
Indeed, yes, we're listening to Nacho Postigo, the navigator on board Prevezza. He was saying that the models really struggle in this area to predict exactly what the conditions will do. Obviously, you have these big temperature differences between the waters of the Atlantic, the more inshore waters, the warm temperatures over the Iberian Peninsula, and as you were just saying, the Azores high pressure system, which really is the clockwise circulation round that high pressure system, which generates this consistent northerly breeze down the Iberian Peninsula coast. So it's all working for us, but I think we'll take more wind, considering the season we've had, particularly early on the season, would take more wind rather than less wind today. Now then, looking at how yesterday went, there's 3 teams pretty much at the top between Sled, American Magic and Paprec. Do you see anything, any change to that hierarchy today? There's only a point between the top 3 teams, and then Allegra in fourth with they are 3 points off the lead. Then there's a little bit of a gap back to Prevezza and Platoon. Platoon had that problem in the first race. But really, in this fleet, Louise, any team can win a race as we continue to see over the course of the season. And I think that Paprec were that's the first win of their of the season. But I think most of the boats have won at least one race so far this year. But it's anyone's game. It's all about putting a series together, isn't it?
I absolutely agree with you, Andy, and it's so nice to see that all the boats are always arriving at the same time, more or less at the upward mark. This makes it so competitive and so exciting here about the Super Series. It's not the classic offshore racing where you're like tracked with your handicap and everything. No, this is like almost back in my 470. Everyone the same speed, everyone the same good, everyone the same beautiful, epic. It's very, very exciting. So you have to pay so much for a tiny mistake. You're really back on the fleet then. So that makes it super exciting to race here in this fleet, especially here in CASCAIS with the big waves. I think the owner drivers, they do a phenomenal job. Andy Soriano, Andrea Lacorte, Also Tony on Phoenix, they're doing such a good job, because even as a professional, it's rare that you get these extreme conditions as we have it here in CASCAIS. 20 knots and big waves. I can probably count it still how often I had it in my 470, and we went in particular in places with so strong winds to train it. So I think for an owner driver this is such a challenge, and I think they're doing it so well, and I really admire them how they sail these big boats here around the course in so high winds. So it's especially well done to them. And I spoke this morning with the 3 leading teams, Andy, and it was very interesting to see Sled and the team Paprick. I think they have different philosophies. Paprick is a French team, you know, they're still discovering everything a little bit. They feel fast, but they want to focus on the simple things and make them right to then have good results. So they go with the classic sail setup. They have no sails, and then they just focus on themselves and try to do the easy things right. And then we have Sled, hugely experienced team. They all sail together for a very long time, won world championships together, so they can explore a little bit more, they can experiment a little bit more, and they feel very good as a team actually, and they have full trust on their shore crew, so they can push the boat because they trust in the boat, and they trust as well in their shore crew that the shore crew, if stuff goes bad, can fix everything. And especially we've seen the shore crew working a lot overnight to get the boats ready for the next day to sail, Andy.
That's right, the shore teams, the sailmakers are working harder than ever to keep everything absolutely at 100%, keep the boats in tip-top racing order. Just a point, we're talking about the number of boats which have won races. We have 10 different boats. I think we've got 13 boats in total that have raced over the course of the first 3 regattas of the season, and 10 of them have now won at least one race over the course of the 2025 season so far. So that's indicative of the level. But as they say, it's all about putting a series together. And this, of course, Louise, this is the World Championship. Everyone raises their game a few percentage. And let's have a quick look at the lineup of the sled team in particular, who are leading the regatta at the moment. As I say, Adam Bichel coming in on board to steer the boat. He is the coach. He's not in that lineup as such, but Mr. Akura is the normal owner driver. Francesco Bruni, the America's Cup sailor from Italy, is the tactician. Won the 2021 title with sled, the world title and the circuit title all in one foul swoop in November 2021 in Palma. Murray Jones, an America's Cup legend, is a strategist. Andrea Vicentini, a super reliable Italian navigator. Jeremy Lomas does the runners. Simon Johnson in this season as the floater. Don Cowie, legendary Kiwi sailor and project manager on the main. Ryan Godfrey and Christian Camp, the trimming duo. Cian Guilfoyle from Ireland, one of the grinders, along with Hideki Wakayama. They're the big powerful grinders. Andrew McCorkadale in the pit, Norio Egai in the mid-bow, and Ivan Poit on the bow. So it's a super strong, super experienced team, and that was evident yesterday. Their manoeuvres, I think, Louise, particularly were outstanding on sled. They were rock solid, weren't they?
Absolutely, Andy. They felt really, really comfortable. The crew's so experienced. I mean, most of the crew members there are my personal heroes. I look so much up to them. Person like Mary Jones, wow, untouchable for me. So they have a lot of experience and they feel very comfortable on the boat. They all know how to sail with each other, and this is so important as well, because in these strong winds with so big waves, where it counts, every second count, every small move on the rudder counts, you have to trust in your teammates as well, Andy.
Now, Louise, there was a big day yesterday for Murray Jones, something very different for him on a TP52. I believe he went forward of the mast.
Exactly. Oh my God, that was so funny when I talked with him after sailing, because they had a bit of a hectic situation at the Downwind gate. The kite dropped in the water. They had a problem with the tagline and the kite dropped in the water. So that's a disaster on these boats, because the kite is slowing everything down and you can break it. So then all the crew members have to help as fast as they can to get the kite back on the water. And Mary Jones is a tactician on almost all the boats boats he ever sailed on. He says, I never touched sails, and yesterday was one of the first days of my life I touched a sail, especially on the TP52. So he gave all his effort to save that sail, and I think this describes how much that team wants to win the World Championship, Andy.
Indeed, but they're say 1 point clear. The Paprec team were pretty impressive. They really are a team on the rise. Although Loic was joking a little bit, Jean-Marie Doris, who used to sail way back in the early days with Audi All for One, the Franco-German team, he's back on board doing the runners. And maybe making a little bit of a difference, who knows, but they, as Loic said, really have all the tools in the toolbox. Now then, yesterday for me, American Magic were a study in risk-reward, weren't they? They were conservative when they needed to be and pushed when they needed to do so. And they were pretty solid. Their manoeuvres were not quite at the level, for example, of sled, as you might expect with a relatively young team. So, Louise, did you catch up with Dougie, the bowman? The bowman on the platoon aviation this morning when he was going back on board?
And I didn't catch up with Dougie. I saw him quite busy and concerned, so I wanted to leave him in peace. But I spoke with the physiotherapist Alan. So Platoon Aviation has its own physiotherapist here. A lot of teams have this because the job is so physical of the sailors on board. So they have their own physiotherapist. And I spoke with Alan, and she was actually pretty concerned about Dougie. And now I saw him on the boat moving, and I hope he is all right. But he seemed to have pain now when he's moving on the board. I'm so happy he's okay. That's at least what I've heard, like that he's good. He has just a lot of pain in his leg, because this is one of the most scary situations on a boat, and it describes how dangerous the sport can be.
Indeed, he was trapped under the bobstay, I think, from what he was saying. But anyway, fingers crossed for Dougie. But Louise, you'll step into the breach and do the bow if there's any problems, and he has to step off.
To be honest, Andy, I'm a brave girl, but I would not ever be a bow girl on these days. Like, no way. On practice racing day, the bowman of Vayu broke his nose. Terrifying for me. And now this happens to Dougie. Like, no, for no money in the world I would do this.
Really?
These are the bravest guys. Yeah, no, these are the bravest guys ever for me. Like, imagine this for a soccer player. That soccer player would already be picked up by a helicopter or something.
Exactly.
And Dougie is in the hospital, and the next day back on the boat. Incredible. Like, they're so brave. I can't do this.
Anyway, I'm sure they could reshuffle the platoon aviation team. Were you called back? But anyway, we have a minute and a half to go. How are you liking the look of this upwind? Seems like the crews are clustering towards the right end of the line a little bit, the right half of the line. Nobody pushing it for the pin at the moment. Provezza, the most leftmost of the fleet at the moment, along with American Magic. And Phoenix are there as well. Alcedo. Surprise, surprise, Gladiator.
Yeah, so I see a bias again.
Go on, Louise.
I see a bias again here for the pin, but we are further out of the bay, so further offshore. So we have more or less the same breeze all over the race course. That's why I think the right side will have this right band again with the acceleration on the Sintra mountain. So I will expect the classic CASCAIS days with like the boats trying to tack as fast as they can to the right side to get the advantage of the right band. Yesterday we were further inside the bay, so that's why most of the boat went to the left to get more wind, Andy.
Indeed, we're at 20 seconds to go. We can see American Magic nicely positioned where they have a little bit of a space, a little bit of real estate to leeward to drive off into. We can see Provezza coming towards the pin end of the line, again with a little bit of space. Paprec looked good at the committee boat end of the line. And we get away to a clear start, Louise, which is a great bonus after 3 general recalls yesterday. American Magic starting very, very close to Phoenix there. Paprec starting nicely at the right of the group and tacking off early. Good start for Provezza, we think. A little bit low, but certainly they've got a nice lane. Good start from American Magic. Louise, your thoughts on the start?
Andy, great start by Patrick there at the race committee boat. They came off the line with speed, like that's impressive. You really have to fight for that gap. Everyone wanted to start there close to the race committee, so not easy boat handling wisely. But also the start of American Magic is super nice. They have space to leeward with Provezza, so they can say their own mode. They're fast, so now they just have to be fast enough and patient for Phoenix to tag, so then they can tag and go with the fleet to the right side.
Indeed, so loads of excitement and pressure off the start line. Patrick seemed to have got away quite nicely. Now we know that a lot of our owners who can't be here for various different reasons will be watching, so big shout out to Mr. Akura at home, Harmuller Spreer in his office watching this race when he should be working, and of course Jean-Luc Petithuguenin, who will be joining us at the weekend, the owner of the Paprec. Big hello to all our owners and past owners who are watching the Rolex TP52 World Championship as we move into race 3. And
I'm here just windward now of Provezza. And now all the boats tagged actually onto port and are sailing to the right side, so I think all of them want to go for that right bend on the right side. And it's very nice to see Eugen on Provezza. I know that he usually doesn't like to go on the boat in these strong winds, but today he's on the boat, so he will have a very exciting day.
Indeed. He may be the lucky charm that gets him a race win, but they've certainly positioned themselves quite nicely on board briefly with Paprec, the French team. Great to hear Loic Perron singing the praises of the undervalued, underappreciated Cedric Chateau on the helm. For me, they have just a little bit of a boat length of a lead just now. American Magic, they're settled in this group.
Ben, I can't hear them anymore. Ah, yeah. That's good.
So we're settled into this first beat of race 3. Very, very much in the balance. For me, the right side is looking quite strong with Gladiator and Paprec out on that right. Provezza investing in this left side as we wait and see how that plays out. American Magic thinking the same.
So this is a whole drag race now to the right side. We had something similar yesterday, every boat dragging to the left, but now it's a runway street to the right side. So it's a real good speed comparison you can see here now, and super interesting as well for all the others watching it, because now it's just about how fast you go and how well you can keep your lane to get the advantage from the right side. And I find these boats so incredible, because just imagine that in these conditions, now under the mast they put some little chimps, so some little plates to make it more stiff. 16 millimeters in total. Like, this is nothing for me in these big boats, but this is how they make the mast stiff and solid for the strong wind. Okay, so there we see, this is Guizot, I think Guizot or Tony. I will confirm this later. I can't really see. Maybe it's Tony. They're steering on the wheel. We just had the picture. He's steering on Gladiator. On these days, it's actually not to have a wheel, because with the big pressure and the strong waves, you have so much load on the rudder that it's better to have a wheel than just a tiller. So there on Platoon we have a tiller, so you need some big and strong helms to hold that tiller. Markus Wieser is a strong German sailor. He's strong enough to hold that tiller and all the pressure on it, but otherwise it's easier actually in these conditions to have a wheel. Particular on downwind, there's a lot of pressure on the tiller. Now we see so the whole crew is hiking out there. They try to put all the weight out to work against the wind, pushing the boat over, so they're fully hiking. This is actually a really uncomfortable position because you put your head down and you have like this sea fans against your stomach, so quite uncomfortable, but they push hard. Here Andy Soriano on Allegro with the wheel, that was what I was talking about. Here's a steering wheel. On Platoon before we saw the tiller. So actually nicer in these conditions to have a wheel. There's less pressure on it. And Andy Soriano did a phenomenal job yesterday, how he sailed the boat around the course. I was really impressed. Well done to him. Especially also the mark roundings are super difficult in these boats, as the boat is turning so fast and you have to be so agile. So he did a really good job on that one. In total, the upwind leg will be 2 nautical miles long. So now we are more or less halfway off the beat, so I will expect the boats to tack out soon. But one boat has to lead in the tack. Maybe it's Paprick, because they are the furthest to the right and the furthest ahead for now.
So on board then briefly with
On
Paprick.
the shot we have here, we can...
Yeah, we're on board with Paprick just now.
American Magic is sailing quite fast here on this beat. Harry Magis is sailing this boat really well, like how he's steering it, super accurate. He's such a great sailor as well, so young. So he did the Youth America's Cup last year, and now I think he's 24, or might be still 23. Super young sailor, I think the youngest helm of the fleet. Probably after this we have Don Whitcraft from Value. But how he's sailing the boat across the course with the help of his team is outstanding.
So the early advantage is with Paprick, with the French team who started close to the committee boat along with Gladiator. Gladiator fourth for the moment. American Magic probably the strongest of the boats on the left as we move up this first upwind of race 3. Gladiator had a little bit of a tough regatta so far. Not quite able to convert their potential that they showed in the practice races into solid results so far. However, this could be the day. Certainly they're very doing well on that right side of the course. Guille Parada, the tactician, has been here many times before with the Azura program before. Won here once from memory now. Great shot there now, showing the convergence between American Magic and Gladiator. American Magic seemed to be a little bit higher, a little bit lifted on this port tack. just getting ahead of Platoon. Will very much depend on final approach coming in on the starboard tack ley line or close to it. Louise Phoenix going rather better in this race as far as we can see so far.
Phoenix is doing great, and I spoke yesterday with Tony, with the owner driver on Phoenix, and he told me that he's loving the conditions. So how great is that? And now they seem to have almost the same speed like American Magic, really matching their height and their speed. So that might be a very good race here for Phoenix. Let's see how they will end up and solve the situation with American Magic, because they kind of have to wait until American Magic tags, because otherwise American Magic would just tag straight in their face, and then it would be difficult for them to keep on sailing their mode and their speed. So they have to wait for American Magic to tag, but American Magic probably wants to wait until they're up to ley line until they tag. But here they go, both boats actually tagging. So this can be a very, very good race here for our South African team, and exceptional good race as well for American Magic, coming in here from the left side so well. They really had this like left shift in the end with a little bit more pressure than the boats towards the right. I actually expected Patrick crossing them when they first tagged, but no, they couldn't cross even Platoon. So the left was coming in so strong here, and now the boats on starboard will have the right bend, Andy. So the further you're on the right side now, the further right shifted you are, so the better it is.
Yeah, so American Magic then with the upper hand. It's not entirely unexpected to think American Magic or Quantum Racing have won the last 2 times we've been here. And certainly remember them winning in 2018 when it was a really brutal, tough, windy week. But as we've said many times, as we all know, this is a young team. Few key changes on board since the 2022 and 2018. Harry Melges, the 4th steering, of course, at the age of just 25. He was, of course, the American Sailing, US Sailing's Rolex Yachtsman of the Year in 2021, when he was just 21 years old. And like 1 or 2 other sailors in this fleet, he's heading to the Moth Worlds next week with high expectations, although he told me that he did a foiling week but broke his mast. Anyway, credit at the moment also to Phoenix, who seem to be in the match. Value appear to be up there. Value and Prevetsa further to the left. Go on, Louise.
I love about American Magic as well that they have 2 girls on board, like Sarah Stone as a navigator and Lara as a floater. This is unique for the Super Series. Like, unfortunately, there are just 2 more girls, Sylvia Mas as a floater on Allegra and Antia as a floater on Alcedo. So 4 girls out of 11 teams.
Come on, we can do better.
Tough number for 2025, but I love that American Magic has 2 girls, and I hope to see so many more girls soon in the future. This would be amazing for these boats, because they're just the best boats to sail for me.
Unfortunately, we're missing Mariana Lobato, who's the Portuguese hero. She was on Teasing Machine in Bayona. I think she's round and about. She'll be racing at the weekend on the Mirapuri boat, I believe. But so Teasing Machine committed to doing the Admiral's Cup, so Mariana's not, unfortunately, not with us, but a legendary Portuguese round the world racer. On board with the Gladiator, then the super experienced Chris Hosking on the main sheet, giving his input. Sorry, on the runners, giving his input. He helps out in strategy along with Ray Davis as well. Ray's just telling Tony, keeping him honest, Kishi just beside him. So it looks like Phoenix will get round in second. But first round is going to be American Magic. In the end, they have a little bit of a lead over Phoenix. Phoenix round in second, their best position so far in this World Championship. Phoenix round second, Provezza in third. Patrick, I think, will just about get round in fourth. The platoon overlapped and a little bit starved of breeze, and Value coming in a very, very tight ley line there. Let's see how that works for them. They will Vasco calling protest on Value. I think Value are going to be caught out there. He may be penalised, but actually Platoon Aviation didn't seem to be too impeded by Value. I think maybe Value got a green flag there, not sure anyway. They're alongside Allegre. Sled are Regatta leaders in 9th just now. Alpha plus 10th, and Alcedo Vitamina in 11th. So Sled and Regatta leaders are quite deep in this race, Louise.
Yes, Andy, wow. I mean, they came all together so close here at the first upwind mark. How exciting is this? 11 boats are all arriving at the same time at the upwind mark again in 20 knots. Incredible. But Sled, I think, had the strategy I also would have done, to be honest, to sail over the right side quite early. And in the end, the two first boats came in from the left, like Provezza really sailed to the left and then was the furthest left boat on top of American Magic even. And then coming in on the left ley line, and Phoenix as well coming in from the left just below American Magic. Very interesting. So Sled sailed more over the right side. That didn't seem to work out so well because the boats had quite a lot of pressure on the last third here on the left side, Andy. But that's very, very good for Phoenix. I'm very happy for that team. They can now make it easy, you know, they just go fast, one jibe, drop, one tack, hoist, one jibe, and finish. Life can be nice and simple sometimes. So let's see how they will work out for them.
I remember you saying,
3 more
Louise,
maneuvers for them to do.
it's not rocket science, I think you said yesterday, Louise, didn't you?
Exactly. But you know, sometimes it's not rocket science, but then it seems so difficult. Just
exactly.
rocket.
Just rocket speeds. Anyway, American Magic then jibing off early, going down to the left, splitting away from the fleet. Can that be an opportunity for Tony Norris and the team on Phoenix? Talking about owners.
To be honest, I was very...
Go on, Louise.
I was very surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised seeing American Magic driving off early there. Victor Diaz-Leon, he's the strategist and he's such a good sailor. Like, he's really having a go at the moment, winning all the events he does. And he's calling the strategy, so maybe he had a discussion with Terry there what to do and they decided to jibe, but that can be definitely the moment here for Phoenix. Their life is just a lot simpler now. They're actually preparing, whilst I'm speaking about it, for their one jibe they have to do, and then they're on the ley line for the first downwind gate. So simpler strategy than what American Magic decided to do, but we will see once they're closer together what worked out better.
Indeed, we tended to think there's more pressure offshore on the right of this run. That's the conventional logic. But our tracker shows the two leading boats absolutely evens. American Magic and Phoenix a metre apart, according to the tracker. It's going to be all about the angle, the speed. you would have to favour Phoenix at the moment in terms of wind speed. Although American Magic slightly, well, it's pretty even, 14.1, 14.2 knots coming down that down this run.
So Phoenix will have the advantage not needing to do a jibe anymore, but American Magic will have the advantage for being on starboard jibe, so they're right of way. So depending on where the boats, how they will meet, Phoenix might need to avoid them because American Magic is right of way boat. So that would be very interesting to see. But Phoenix is having a nice gust here and just leeward of them. So they're really charging up that boat, putting the bow up. The spray comes over the boat. Amazing sailing conditions right now. Absolutely love to see the boats ripping downwind.
Indeed, we just quickly on board with Platoon Aviation, the big grinders there, Andy Axelson and Gerd Harbermüller. Gerdy, of course, an Austrian Olympic bobsleigh Olympian before getting into sailing. One of the strongest and physically fittest grinders on the circuit. Giving the power to Platoon Aviation as they come downwind in 6th place. Looking good for American Magic just now though. Coming back on a good angle. Looks like they'll have a comfortable lead relative to Phoenix going through the leeward gate, having made a gain of about 100 metres according to the tracker, maybe closer once they get to the mark as they roll into their jibe. So a little bit of a net gain then to American Magic, Louise. Maybe not what we expected, but clearly what Victor Diaz de Leon and Terry Hutchison expected and hoped for. Correspondingly, a little bit of a gain to Vayu, looking at the speed there coming down that left side, looking downwind, bow number 27. Jumping up to third, they were 6th or 7th at that top mark. They have the Brains Trust on board of Nick Rogers and Manu Weiler working together. A big gain to Vayu then. Who would have thought, Louise?
Andy, absolutely agree. They got a green flag there with the situation with Platoon Aviation at the Upwind mark. We would think back, there was a little bit of a protest situation. Vasco pointed the protest flag, but they got a green flag. So they jibed out early, same as American Magic did, and got their special gust there. They even jibed later than American Magic back onto starboard jibe and made even a bigger advantage there. So maybe now they can jibe, or look, they even cross Phoenix. So that makes them in a 2nd position now. That would be the best result for Vayu in the World Championship here in CASCAIS. Yesterday they had 2 individual recalls, so 2 times they had to go back. They had to go back behind the starting line. So that would be an incredible day for them. I hope they can put this 2nd place in their pocket, Andy.
Indeed, of course, they're on the Quantum programme. This will be 2 Quantum boats, 1st and 2nd at the moment. But it was interesting hearing from Alvaro Marinho that he knows Nick Rogers really well. Nick used to come down and train in here in CASCAIS in his 470 days. And obviously has raced with the 52s here before, but great shots there of American Magic coming downwind into the gate. Talking of owners who'll be watching, I'm absolutely sure Doug DeVos will be watching as well, and probably cheering his team on. Leading at the moment, this if they could hold on to this position through the finish line, we've still got a lap to go. That would give the American Magic the World Championship lead as they come through the leeward gate. Nice, safe rounding. Now, we did not expect Phoenix to lose as much on that run, Louise, did we?
No, I'm very surprised, Andy, but even more surprised about how much value gained there with their jibe. But now they have quite difficult maneuver here around the downwind gate. Wow, a drop, a jibe, and then now so much shield around that mark. Not easy for the crew to execute this maneuver, but they do phenomenally well, Andy. What a mark rounding here by the team. They are hot today.
Indeed, I think they probably had a few words and knowing some of the senior members of the value team and Nipper Whiskey, I'm sure would have helped them settle their concerns after yesterday's racing. But they're really back fighting in second place just now. Great to see them up in the top 2, top 3 in this race. Same applies to Phoenix. Paprec round in 4th, Gladiator up to 5th. They were 6th at the windward mark. Alpha Plus, Platoon Aviation. There we see Alcedo coming round the Allure Gate. Spoke with Andrea Lacorte yesterday about his first time in big wins in the 52s. And he said really it's a learning process, step by step. Came in here with minimal expectations, but he's certainly loved his first day in CASCAIS on the TP52s. So in the end, sled round in 10th place. Go on, Louise.
Yeah, we still have a bit of a moment here with Allegro, unfortunately. Like, they had to do a manual drop with their Janaker, and now they're still in the wind, still not moving forward. Maybe we can go with one of the cameras to Allegro at the downwind gate, still not able to sail. They had problems with their Janaker drop. I hope they can go soon again and continue racing, but for now I can see all the people on board trying to do something. Jib is off, plane is off, so there is clearly... No, the kite should be back on the boat, but there's clearly a bit of a problem there with Allegro, unfortunately.
Trying to get something sorted out. Anyway, they had one that's technical problem was leaving them having to watch the fleet disappear off upwind. Just sailing downwind briefly. I don't know whether they're doing a turn, whether they had an issue with another boat perhaps. But they seem to be getting things sorted out. Yes, I guess it was some kind of incident, because they clearly have done a turn and are now heading off upwind, giving chase to the fleet in 11th place. So huge disappointment for Andy Soriano and his Allegra team. American Magic, meantime, have moved well clear, over 130 metres clear of Phoenix and Vayu.
And you're kind of thinking about, okay, what did we learn from the first upwind and what did we learn now from the downwind? And to be honest, wow, the race course doesn't seem to be so easy for me, at the least here from the media boat. It's wavy, it's windy, but it seems to be gusty and shifty as well, because first upwind we had this nice gust coming in from the left side, Provetzer, Phoenix and American Magic, their last third of the upwind, getting there in a strong position, and then on the downwind, the right side, the jibe was so good. But now all the boat for the second upwind are sailing again to the right side. Will be very interesting to see if it's now the same for the second upwind, what we have seen on the downwind or what we have seen on the first upwind, Andy.
Indeed, you know, we've seen that when I think back, we've seen it many times, that left side paying off downwind. Of course, you have the geographic wind bend closer to the CASCAIS shore, and potentially a little less current, you'd imagine. Current was a big factor in the starting yesterday, and it will been again today, but clearly the navigators had it a little bit better dialed. That was the key point yesterday, where we had all these general recalls, plus just the sense of urgency and excitement of day one of this Rolex TP52 World Championship on board now with the Gladiator, the defending champions. Chipping away, Louise. There were 6 at the top mark, first time up, they're up to 4th. Tony Langley there, the owner-driver, doing a great job.
I like the approach of Tony Langley. He's always telling me, okay, we're just gonna need to stick to the process. The results will come by themselves. But as a defending world champion, it's not easy to then go again to the World Championship and do it again, because this is usually the expectation you have, right? Like, you already did it once, they had a phenomenal season last year, so you really come in with these high expectations, and I think yesterday was not really the day they wanted to have, so they're a little bit under pressure, I think. Like, these guys, they're so cool, obviously. Many of them won plenty World Championships before, so they know what it takes to win again. But I feel it's just different to go in a World Championship as a defending world champion than come in there, for example, as an underdog or as somebody who finished second all the time.
You go in with a target on your back in some senses, don't you?
Absolutely, you know, and you have this like head playing against you, the mental games and stuff. You try to push them away, but sometimes the mind is stronger, right? We all know this, but Tony is a phenomenal guy. Like, he's so cool. When I talk to him on shore, I also admire him a lot. And sailing in these conditions, I said it before, is a real challenge for pros and especially also for owner drivers.
Indeed, and of course Tony, super successful in his business. Built his business up from relatively humble beginnings to be a big, one of the biggest players in his industries. Multiple business interests in engineering and so on. But he, nobody really puts more into TP52 racing. He has 3 TP52s. Was racing the Cows boat in the Round the Island, racing the IRC Nationals and so on, back at home. But it's interesting, Louise, just talk to us, drill down a little bit when Tony says he trusts in the process. What does that mean in real terms?
In my terms, especially last year at the World Championship in Newport, this was quite outstanding. They kept on doing the same thing again and again and again and won races like this. Starting at the pin end, go fast, one tag and cross the fleet. There was one of their winning recipes last year at the World Championship. They just kept on doing it again, and then once we were getting towards the end of the World Championship, I asked him, Tony, come on, be honest with me. You must be a little bit nervous now. And he said, nope, just sticking to the process here. I'm used for pressure from my job, and I just apply the same here on the sailing. And I think this makes him such a strong competitor in the fleet as well.
That's right. I mean, it was unfortunate at the end of the season. He was saying the same kind of things, trusting in the process, finding the methodology that had helped them win previously, and it really unfortunately didn't work in Valencia at the end of the season when it was so much more offshore breezes. It was super unsettled and was not easy to. It was much more tactical racing rather than strategic racing, when you go on the water with a game plan, knowing what you want to do. And the way the race courses play out there, and as you said, they did the same thing, achieved the same thing, executed the same way in each race in Newport last year, and that really was the absolute passport to their world title. But at the moment then, American Magic leading Phoenix up to second for the meantime. Seem to have got through Value a little bit further offshore. Gladiator chipping away, as we said. All that amazing level of concentration from Tony Langley, getting themselves up to third, fourth, racing against Value.
I think it's interesting about American Magic, Value and Gladiator. They're all on the same program, so they use quantum sails and they share their data with each other. So here in the fleet there are 3 sail brands: North Sails, Story Sails and Quantum Sails, and these 3 boats have quantum sails, so they share their sails with each other, like their sail data with each other, and they do debriefs together, and they have a very strong training group relationship as well. It's very nice to see this different dynamics of like data sharing and also training groups and how they work with each other, but also they also keep information close to people outside of the training group.
Indeed, of course, there will be a general strategy from discussed from the head coach, the Uber coach, James Line. And of course, Quantum in particular have been coming here for many, many years, and as we keep saying, are the most successful, most winningest team here. So in terms of the strategies on a day like this, it's a fairly normal classic CASCAIS day. But Phoenix in that mix just now. North Sails program. I think they have a new sail designer this year, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, as the great Nicholas Zenstrom always said, it's always in sailing, it's about avoiding the shockers, avoiding the big numbers. And American Magic in particular have been doing that so far. Paprec to a great extent also have been consistent, but it's a tough day in the office at the moment for Sled and Allegra in particular. These are the days that really affect your regatta and your season. When something goes wrong, when a small problem becomes a big problem.
And yeah, I thought this Upwind was particularly interesting between Bayou and Phoenix. So Bayou went for this spectacular maneuver for the downwind, like mark rounding, so drop, jibe, and then rounding the mark. And Phoenix rounded the mark on the other jibe and then had to tack. So they went earlier to the right side than Bayou, and I think that gave them the advantage. I don't know exactly if they were maybe also a bit faster. That would be a very interesting question for the sail analytic people to evaluate all the data after the racing, to understand, okay, what exactly happened on this Upwind? Why is Value not in second position anymore? Why is Phoenix overtaking Value? So a lot of data that needs to get processed as well after this racing. But even more exciting for us, Andy, will Phoenix keep the second position?
Fingers crossed. They deserve a good result. They've been working hard to say they came into the season relatively late, only coming to Bayona, missing Saint-Tropez through choice, and they didn't do the early season training in Valencia. So maybe this is Phoenix starting to show the upward trend, the uptick in performance and some better results. Here's hoping for them, the South African team, Hasso and Tina Plattner. Again, I'm pretty sure we have Phoenix owners at home in South Africa watching, cheering on their team. But as we go round the windward mark for the second time, it's American Magic still leading. Opened out a few meters on the second place boat, which were at the leeward gate was Value, but it's looking very much like it will be Phoenix. Fleet spread out a little bit. So all credit to Tony Norris and the Phoenix team, Tom Burnham in the tactician's role along with the afterguard. And next round will be Vayu. Look at the distance between Vayu and Phoenix, Louise. That's a big jump for Phoenix, or a little bit of a loss to Vayu, depending how you look on these things, who you're supporting. Gladiator in fourth. Paprec round in fifth. Platoon Aviation in sixth now. And the tail of the fleet coming in now. Look at the Allegra, are really quite far back because of their problems at that lower gate. Moving as Platoon Aviation lift off at the offset turn. Kite hoist, now they have the kite going for the jibe set. Great technique, but the kite was just a little bit sucked in, twisted in between the jib and the main. Platoon have a little bit of a problem there, just trying to unfurl, untangle the kite, which they do now. Regatta in 10th now, and 11th is going to be Allegra still. So considering Regatta were in third at the windward mark, first time up, another tough race for the Turkish team. So most of the teams going for the early jibe, Louise, and learning to go down that left side.
Andy, I agree with you. Like, the upwind really shows that you have to go now to the right side, as we have seen at the downwind before. So that's why most of the teams immediately jibed. So what they actually did was good to see. They jibed, and whilst they jibed, they then put the Janaka up. Super nice. But I kind of liked what Gladiator did. So Gladiator continued after the offset mark, hoisted the kite, went for a bit more, and then jibed. I kind of like it because they had more pressure once they continued on the starboard jibe, where the other boats who had immediately jibed, they still had the bad wind and bad air from the boats who were on the upwind. So for example, American Magic or Phoenix as well, Vayu, like, this makes you slow, you know? You don't want the bad air. We're not in cycling. We want our fresh air. We don't want to be covered by others. So I like what Gladiator did. Let's see how they come back. They were quite close to Vayu when they rounded. So from my perspective right now, they might make gains on Vayu, but we have to wait until they jibe, Andy.
Indeed. That Amway kite of American Magic just jibing now. Not their best wave selection. Adam Bischel just explaining it to us. It's like sailing a laser where you want to select your wave, stay on your wave, make your maneuver while you've got the momentum from the wave. Just dropped off the back of the wave as the kite sheeted, but now they're surfing beautifully on starboard jibe, diverging away from the fleet, but they're in a strong position. Let's have a quick look at the lineup on board. The regatta leaders, well, of course, it's Harry Melges, the fourth, is just 25 years old, the helmsman of American Magic Quantum Racing. Terry Hutchison is a tactician. Victor Diaz de Leon, strategist. Sarah Stone, navigator. Sean Clarkson on runners. Lucas Calabrese, Olympic bronze medalist in in on the main. James Dagg and Ian Liberty are the two trimmers. Big Trevor Bird and Luke Muller, the two grinders. Luke joining the programme last year. Matt Cassidy, the ever dependable pitman. Norm Burge moving into the mid-bow. Greg Gandel, the sailor who's won more 52 Super Series World Championships than any other, with 7. And Lara Polchak, the floater. That's the lineup on American Magic. The regatta leaders and many times world champions moving onto the top spots. Phoenix and Vayu head-to-head for second and third in this race. But Louise, that's a pretty big lead in anybody's margins for American Magic, over 300 metres.
Yeah, that's a great lead here by American Magic. Absolutely agree. They're fast and they're just getting richer and richer, Andy, because they are extending their lead actually. But interesting to see. I watched a little bit further back in the fleet between what happened with the blue kite and the white kite, so Gladiator and Paprick. Gladiator rounded the upwind mark before Paprick, and they continued and did not jibe immediately, and they had to duck behind Paprick, so they lost that boat. But now they extended further to that side and jibed later, so maybe now they can make the meters good again. They lost before, so once Paprick will jibe back onto port jibe, we will see if Gladiator really lost Paprick or if Gladiator is still in the 4th place.
It's going to be interesting. We're seeing some gains to Alcedo Vitamina on this run, the blue boat, which is Andrea Lacorte, maybe making a little bit of a gain. There is Cameron Appleton, tactician on board, backed up, as we said, by the 4 times Portuguese Olympian Alvaro Mourinho. Paprick pushing hard. I think, for me, Paprick ahead of Gladiator, but I think we'll see some changes on this run. Great images there, just really showing the strands, the gusts of breeze coming down, the different angles the boats are sailing, coming down this final run of race 3 of the Rolex TP52 World Championship here in Cascais. And the Portuguese Mecca once again delivering. Great racing.
Andy, isn't it interesting? We just said American Magic is getting richer and richer, but they had
And
actually
Phoenix.
jibed quite early.
Yeah.
So now they had to do another. Yeah, so they had to do another 2 jibes to be actually on the ley line for the finish. So there was the chance for Phoenix to make meters good on them. So now they're not in such a strong lead anymore.
I think they'll be okay, but kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. Maybe a dream come true for the South African team, but I think they're going to run out of runway. Paprick ever hopeful on this right side. Can they get themselves through Vayu? Vayu well off to the left. But American Magic then will, I think, record their first race win of the World Championship, and one which will take them into the regatta lead. In the end, Phoenix not far behind, Louise.
Absolutely, Andy. They were on them. And now nice jibe here into the finish. Wow, beautiful sailed by Phoenix as well in American Magic.
Yeah, Phoenix sailed a pretty tidy race all in all. Got themselves round the top mark in second and came through in second. So congratulations to the Plattner family team for that well executed race in this brisk breeze. Vayu unlucky to get third.
And now it's on, Andy.
Oh yes.
Will it be Gladiator or will it be Paprick?
Well, it's going to be Gladiator on the starboard jibe advantage. whether they can complete their jibe. They're not going to leave much room for Paprec. Paprec coming in late, but it's Gladiator through the line for fourth. Paprec getting fifth. But drama to the finish line. 2 seconds of difference between them, according to our finishing calculations. Next, coming through with the fifth is Platoon Aviation. They were fifth at the top mark, first time up. Marcus Vieser there, helmsman, looking back to see who's behind them, as indeed is Vasco Vascotto. Then Alpha Plus. Good comeback from Alcedo, 10th at the top mark, first time up. Ending up with, I think, 8th, isn't it? Sled, I think, coming through in 9th. The regatta leaders going into this race. I'm sure they will be coming back in this next race. There's too much experience and too much talent on board that boat. And Provezza coming through. Provezza got 10th, and it's going to be a little bit of a wait for Allegra after their problem at that at Leeward Gate. Sled, I said 9th. So Louise, your thoughts on that race then? A great win for American Magic. It was foundation of the win was off the start line, recognising the advantage on the left this time, leading all the way around the course. So a great race for American Magic. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. It seemed like they had a pretty clear plan. You know, they started from the beginning, most boat towards the left, but just leeward of the group with a lot of space. They had Provezza even more to the left, but they had enough separation to that boat to sail their own angle, their own mode, and then sailed a very good race, like on top of the fleet, fast and clean, and just executed their strategy. That's what it looked like for me. So clean sailing for them and their fast boat, so that even then the two last jibes they had to do on the downwind didn't take their lead away, but Phoenix came so close to them. That was exciting to follow.
Just 14 seconds according to the timings, and a really nice extension down that first run. Remember, American Magic jibed off with the only boat to go down the left side early on. That gave them a big jump, but as Louise said, Phoenix coming back nicely on that second run. Vayu got themselves right into contention, also gaining down that first run. They were 7th at the top mark, 2nd at the Leeward Gate, 3rd at the windward mark, and 3rd through the finish line. So good work to the Vayu team, and Gladiator through in 4th. So a little bit of a pause, we hope, a little bit of time to just regroup for the teams to debrief, grab some nutrition and rehydrate. American Magic then 3-2-1 lift off for the World Championship leaders now. 6 points, they're 4 points clear of Paprec. Paprec have been on the podium both regattas so far this season in the early part of the regatta. The early part of the events are now in second. They're 3 points clear of Sled, who went 1-3 and then had a 9 in that race. Allegra 2-5-11. It's a pretty inconsistent looking scoreboard outside of the top two just now. Phoenix move up to 5th after that second place. Gladiator in 6th. Vayu 7th. 8th, their Platoon Aviation. Alpha Plus in 9th. Provezza 10th, and Alcedo Vitamina in 11th for the moment, but really there's nothing in it between let's say 4th and 11th for the moment. Just 6 points between 4th and 11th. And all that can change on this next race coming up in a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining us in the first race. Come back with us in a few minutes to say for race number 4 of the Rolex TP52 World Championship.
If you never risk it, then you'll never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. 3, 2, 1, racing! Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. Yeah, the first step is showing up, hear them cheer. Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. We're blowing up, hear them cheer. If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another level, you are ruthless.
Why you look surprised when we've done this all before? I'm not sure the highs really make up for the lows. When words don't work and I get hurt somehow, I feel like I'm the worst. Manipulation overload, but babe, this time I'll steal the show. Please listen close. Stop drumming on my heart, please stop. The rhythm that you're playing is just way up. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a world and alone. Stop drumming on my drumming on the heart, please stop. Got me black and blue, making me wanna walk. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on the heart, please stop. The rhythm that you're playing is just radio. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on the heart. I know better. Locked in my head, romanticizing forever. Last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I was through, but looking at you, I think I changed my mind. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first and all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? My God, don't we look good together? I should be running away, but so what, whatever. Oh, last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I was through, but looking at you, I think I changed my mind. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first and all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? You're a bad idea. Oh, but every time I see you, all reason and logic cut their losses. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first and all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. Party all night, going to the dark skies. I'll party all night, I'll party all night, I'll party all night. Give me one more dose and I'll party all night. Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. Tell me something, it might just take the pain away. See, I've been thinking a million things I want to say. Now I'm looking in your eyes, but I'm wandering to your lips. See, I'm trying to keep it cool while I'm hovering for the kiss. 'Cause I've been eating you like old-fashioned orange slice, sweet like daiquiri with strawberry crushed ice. Know you like a margarita with the hot spice. Love the taste
So welcome back to CASCAIS then, a fantastic race number 3 win for American Magic from pretty much gun to gun from the top mark to the finish line. They were pursued by Phoenix, who took a good second place, but is American Magic. Quantum Racing are leading the regatta. Let's have a look at the standings as we go into race 3. Well, it's a lead of 4 points now for Doug DeVos' team on the gold medal position. Paprec in second now on 10 points, 13 points for Sled, 5-point gap back to Allegre, who are on 18. 2 points behind them are Phoenix and Gladiator, and then a point behind them Vayu and Platoon Aviation, a point behind them Alpha Plus, a point behind them Provezza, and 1 point behind them are Arcado Vitamina. So conditions still champagne sailing, Louise. We still have 15, 16 knots, something like that, I guess, looking at the conditions on the start line. Is it going to be another epic, Louise?
Andy, this is going to be another epic race. We have 20 knots. The wind is a little bit further left, so 315. The course will be 2.1 nautical miles longer, so a little bit longer than what we had before. In the wind, a little bit further to the left. Big waves, lots of breeze, so exciting racing ahead here for race number 4. And the boats are ready. We saw some jib changes now for the 4th race, so some boats went from a J3.5 so J4, so that's their smallest jib. After this there is the storm jib, but when it's time for the storm jib, everyone should go home as fast as they can. So now we're in the upper range of conditions for these boats. Amazing, I'm so excited, and I think personally that now once the left side, the left shift is finally in. We had that on the first upwind for the race number 3, so the race we just had before this one. The left side was working a bit better, but I think it was because of that left shift. So now the wind will probably stay in the 315 direction, so I expect the right side with the right band acceleration there on the mountain of Sintra will be the advantage and the gain feature for this race, Andy. So most of the boats already line up. And I think they all want to take out quite fast to the right, but maybe they will show us different, Andy.
Maybe they will, but on the right of the main group just now, we have Gladiator started on the committee boat last time. Also Platoon Aviation, also Paprec started there in the previous race as well. Allegra about 1/3 down from the committee boat end of the line. Sled at the pin end along with Alpha Plus. And indeed American Magic about 1/3 up from the pin end. It's going to be about speed and execution then for American Magic. They've started really well in the last couple of races. In the final 35 seconds, Provezza at the pin end of the line along with Sled. Sled now have to fight back from that disappointing previous race. Went in leading the regatta. Can they bounce back? We have 15 seconds to go. Seems like an American Magic a little bit late. Is that through choice, Louise? A little bit second row just now. They're
Oof, Andy.
trying to tack maybe.
Yeah.
Having a terrible start
So this
for
was
them.
an all clear start, but the boats were all... Yeah, the boats were always so close here to the bin end, like Sled really having a super hard time here. Second boat to the left, they need to check out soon probably as they get squeezed off from Provezza. I don't know why they were pushed so much for the left. I mean, there's a bit of a bias, but do you really have to take that risk? And American Magic, yeah, they were late. So they now crossing the fleet in the back, sailing to the right side. They're already onto port, and now they have a free line on that port tack just on top of Paprec, and that's actually exactly what you want. So they really have the strategy again to go to the right side, and there on port tack you need that free line to show you speed, and for now they look in a strong position. So maybe that was all planned out, Andy.
I think it was, but it just looked a little bit horrific when they're second row off the line, that you're looking for a gap to open up, which indeed it did, and so they got themselves onto port early. Meantime, we're looking at Provezza came off the pin end of the line. They are slightly bow forward on the Alpha Plus. They have Sled to leeward. Sled can't live there, unfortunately. So they have to tack across, as do Alcedo, as do Alpha Plus. And I'm sure Provezza will go, and they do tack indeed. Alpha Plus tacking on top of Sled, so Sled
Wow.
couldn't live in there, so they have to tack out. So what's your evaluation of the situation now then, Louise? In the end, a nice start, a nice situation for American Magic.
Yeah, very, very well done here for American Magic, like coming on port, and now that immediately having the free lane on port, and unfortunately it's not so good for Sled, like they made their life so difficult. They're going into their third tag right now, just like I think 1.5 minutes after the start or something at the time we have now, and these strong winds, then you're quite in the back of the fleet already. They were really pushing their risk there at the starting line, starting in the sandwich so close to the other boats. Wow, that's painful, Andy, really painful.
Indeed, so actually Provezza don't look too bad on this left side of the group, having come off the pin end of the line. Just in our immediate foreground of that shot, Alpha Plus going quite well. The one to watch is probably Platoon and Gladiator, who we can't quite see for the moment. They're quite far forward on that right side just now. So Provezza actually had a good first beat in the last race. We are on board with Platoon Aviation furthest, or one of the furthest boats to the right. They seem to be quite high on this port tack for them just now. For sure, they seem to have a little bit less wind pressure. we'll see when they tack. Quick look at sled in the 11th just now off the line, having to do that double tack to get out and find that lane. Now then you get a better look at Gladiator there behind Paprec at the top of the picture.
Andy, so full drag race here to the right side now. It's all about speed, but yes, I agree with you. I'm just here on top of sled, and Provezza for me looks in a really strong position there. Similar like the race before, they were also starting the furthest to the left, winning that pin, and especially now at that start, they did a particularly good job in winning that pin end. It was so crowded there, and they executed it super well, so they're on top of the fleet. Looking good there. Let's see if they can execute it. In the race before, we had the left side coming in strong at the last third of the upwind. So let's see if that's the case again for this race. But for now, they look pretty solid, same as American Magic. More leeward, they were actually coming the best out of that start. Though it was on port, they could immediately convert their start, getting onto port, and now having a free lane and using the super speed they have.
Just give us a picture of the approach to the windward mark. You're saying the last third of the upwind, you have the advantage on the left side.
Yeah, so here at the moment we are still like kind of in the middle of the race course, still a bit of time to go for the boats, but there's in general more wind on the left side as there's more wind out of the bay. We are just here at the corner close to Guincho Praia, and the further you go offshore the more wind you have, but at the right side you get a wind bend, so that will play out, and we will see this with the boat when they're tacked onto starboard. So before it will be difficult to see this advantage, but once they then tack to starboard, because of the mountain in Sindra, there's an acceleration and there's also a right shift, right bend. So the further you're to the right side, the higher you can put your bow up, and the faster you go and the less distance you sail towards the mark. So the better you will be as well at the upwind mark. But for now, the boats start to point here on the port tack. They start to point higher and higher with their bow. We had similar on the other upwinds. So let's see how this actually plays out once they then tacked onto starboard, Andy.
On board a little bit just now with Alcedo Vitamina. Alcedo deep in the standings just now, as we might expect for a team coming into the circuit for the first time and racing in these strong conditions. Very much a part of the learning process for Andrea Lacoste on the helm. An owner who favours the tiller, you'll see. He was saying that he spent...
For me, all the owner drivers do really...
Go on, Louise.
They do really good. Yeah, they do such a good job, Andy, to sail the boat in these conditions. There is so much load, especially on a tiller like we saw just on Alcedo. There's so much load on it. It's so difficult to sail these boats in these conditions. So much fun as well, but you're all the time on the edge. Yesterday when I spoke with Phoenix, with Tony, the owner driver, he explained me that downwind, it's rock and roll. You're all the time about to wipe out, so you're like, oh, I'm good, I'm not good anymore, I'm good, not good anymore. So full adrenaline here for the entire crew members, and I think they do all so well. Very good. It's so good to see all these boats racing, and they're in competition with the pros together. So in what other sport do you have this as an owner driver to compete against the best of the world?
Indeed, and Andy Soriano there, and I think I would have him in second place, but just seeming to duck just now very slightly. losing out very slightly to Paprec, going behind, but they're certainly close to American Magic. American Magic on starboard now, converging with the Provezza. Gladiator then in the end not so good from that corner. American Magic just banking what they have relative to Provezza. And then Provezza
So
on.
Provezza's just going behind American Magic, and American Magic now tags on top of Provezza. So these two boats are really, really close together, Andy.
Indeed, and Provezza I think will have to tack again, just converging with the boats on starboard just now. Obviously shortened a little bit on the long lens of our TV boat, and they'll tack just into the leeward bow of Vayu. Vayu back in the match once again, Louise. They were did well in the previous race, but their gain really was on the first downwind. They're really up in the top 3, top 4 just now. Dawn Whitcraft steering, our youngest, shall we say, owner-driver. It's an owner-driver who's just completed an Olympic program, Louise, isn't he?
Yes, exactly. I know Don from the Olympic sailing. He sailed with his brother Dylan together, 49er. It's so nice that these brothers sail together. I sailed with my sister together for 70, so it takes quite a bit to sail with a sibling. And they sail together. Now they're sailing together as well on Vayu with a family, like a family project, a family dream for me. I wish I would have the same. This is magic for me to be competing with your family together in the highest level of sailing. I mean, it's incredible. And now there's so much in the front. Really nice to see it. And when I spoke with Don the other day, he actually says that in these strong winds, the TP52 is almost like a 49er, so it's as agile, and downwinds it's very similar. He saw a lot of similarities. He also felt the helm loaded almost in the same way, and then also the jibes, he saw a lot of similarities in that. So he says for him it's very nice to be helming the boat here, because he feels confident from what he learned in the 49er to apply here on the boat, and he has this incredible strong crew behind him, supporting him, pushing him with family members inside. I think it's one of the coolest team histories we have here in the fleet.
Absolutely. Of course, it's just over a year since they won the first regatta that we sailed in Newport last year. A dream win for them. In some senses, quite similar to Gladiator's win. They had a formula that worked for them from day one. Very much conditions that were good for their boat, but they won that regatta as a family team on Father's Day last year. But they're in the match just now. They're only 20 or 30 metres behind American Magic. Paprec have wiggled themselves up to third.
Look, Andy, how all the boats are now fighting there on the right side to have their lane and try to be in a good position there to sail their speed, not having the land air of another boat. I thought American Magic, what they did earlier was super smart, like going early, trying to get close to Provezza, and then making the life of Provezza super difficult, so that Provezza had to tack out to the right again. They did really good on that one.
Indeed, and Provezza then really going kind of from second, third down to fifth at the moment. Maybe they'll benefit from their position slightly more to the right. We'll just wait and see, but they're in a very, very compact part of the fleet. Sled furthest to the left, Alpha Plus as well. And American Magic quite settled as they approach the windward mark. Breezes up and down just a little bit. So it's going to be really tight mark rounding. Watching Alpha Plus then in fourth, whether they can get back and find themselves a slot in the lineup at the top arc. It will be interesting. They could do with a good solid result in this race. Could the team from Hong Kong, Sean and Tina Kang's team, Olympic gold medalist Tom Burton as a tactician, and young Nick Egnott Johnson on the helm, a Kiwi talent. But Paprec really doing fantastic work on this upwind. So there we have a great shot from the drone at the windward mark. American Magic very much, I think, on ley line, just under. But they have the space and opportunity to tack up to the mark. Platoon Aviation, they're probably closest to the actual ley line according to the tracker. Privetza may be able to hang in there from their position. They're sixth, but they could make some gains depending on who has to tack up to ley line. But so far then, a little bit of a repeat performance of race 3. American Magic it will be who leads round the top mark. After their interesting start, say they held back, threaded the needle through on port tack to get clear air straight away. They're just pushed out up to the ley line now. Could actually be Paprec getting round this top mark first, or indeed boat below, just below them, Vayu actually holding American Magic out. Paprec maybe just a little bit tight on ley line, but I think Cedric Chateau will be able to bring the French boat round the top mark with just a little bit of fresh air. So round the top mark it's Paprec leading. Just when I thought it was going to be American Magic repeating the previous race play out. In fact, Vayu round second, American Magic I think getting third at the top mark. Privetza in the end just squeezing in for fourth. Alongside Platoon Aviation, Alcedo up in sixth. Gladiator seventh. Allegra, I think, or Sled, in fact, it is. Sled and Allegra side by side as they come round the top mark. Sled just getting inside. Paprec jibing early on the downwind. There's a battle between Vayu and American Magic down this run, and actually it's going to be Phoenix, I think, getting round in 11th. This is going to be an interesting run. Not a massive amount of wind, just watching though. Gladiator surging past Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation just not getting their hoist perfect, still waiting to get that kite filled. In the meantime, Gladiator just rumble past them, chasing Paprec. Now Paprec, we know, are quick downwind. So it's all about the gust selection, or the gusts that coming to them, and the wave selection. Alcedo hanging on with the right. Interesting choice from Cameron Appleton and Alvaro Marinho. More wind pressure down the right side, but the shift is on the left. The header, the right-hander, which will allow them to sail more directly towards the finish line, sailing a shorter distance. Which is what we saw American Magic do on the previous race, where with the Italian team on Alcedo now joining the race leaders, Paprec. Paprec lie 5th at the moment on the circuit standings. Second in the regatta. They are a 4-point deficit just now behind American Magic. Projected standings then that would be reduced to 1 point, and that would be a 12-point gap to value. I mean, this is shaping up to be a fantastically interesting Rolex TP52 World Championship. On board briefly with the Les Bleus, with Paprec. Everything quite tranquilo on board. Sailing nice and low, going into, I think, just coming away in a nice wave. Well clear of American Magic in the end. Look at the jibing angle there. It's American Magic. Jibed earlier and are coming across on starboard jibe. So are we seeing a little bit of a gain to Alcedo, who stayed to the right? Maybe there's a reversal of fortunes compared to the previous race, the first race, when we saw actually American Magic increase their lead significantly, multiply their lead down the first run. More wind pressure offshore for Cameron Appleton. Has Portugal's 4 times 470 Olympian called it for the Italian team. For sure, if they can get into the top 2, top 3, they should be able to hold on in there. They really have nice speed to the blue Italian boat. Newcomers to the circuit just now. Look at the difference in speed. They're doing 17, 18 knots compared to Paprec doing 13, 14. So dream run for the Italians for the moment. They're coming down this first downwind. This is very much about wind speed. So an interesting run then, Louise. We didn't see that coming. Alcedo Vitamina team making the gains coming down this run.
Absolutely agree with you, Andy. I mean, this was incredible. They just really continued. Yeah, you spotted, okay, that was so interesting what Alvaro and Cameron discussed there to continue. And they made big gains on American Magic. I wonder how close they can actually get to Patrick and Vayu. I'm just leeward here of the Italian team, and they're in a gas. The bow is up, the crew is sitting in the back. So full speed, full charge, full power, and trying to make as many meters good here as they can to the team. But we had a bit of a drama as well before the Upwind mark, Andy. There was a protest between Allegre and Sled. So Sled had to do the penalty. Allegre got very upset. So lots of things are going on here on this downwind. It's so changeable.
So the two of them ending up in 10th and 11th for the meantime. Very expensive for both of them, but not just for the regatta, but in terms of the overall circuit. Now then, we have the two blue boats, the blue French boat, the blue Italian boat, converging just now on this first run of race number 4. Alcedo Vitamina, the tracker says, are ahead. I think Paprec will cross, stealing a more direct line towards the finish line. And on starboard jibe. Now then, Louise, what will Paprec do? Will they cross or jibe inside?
Andy, good question, but I think Paprec would just cross and then decide which mark they would take for the easy strop, because that's what you have to consider as well in your strategy. Not only the other boats, but also you want to plan ahead what mark you want to take, as we are almost at the downwind gate, and as well how much you want to push your crew, because we've seen a lot of problems with the Janakas at the downwind gate. So you want to avoid these big mistakes, because once you avoid them, you're already in the front, as a lot of other teams are still struggling with it. That's why I think Paprec would try to make it as simple as possible. They also told me this morning they want to keep the things simple and easy and focus on executing the simple things well.
That's it, keep it simple. 325, we're hitting a new bearing to the windward mark, so actually the breeze has gone 10 degrees to the right. Looking like Paprec should come round this left-hand mark, looking upwind with a small lead. Going for a textbook drop. They'll try and drop as late as possible, but keep it simple. Now then, Alcedo Vitamina have dropped earlier. Going for the jibe drop round the right-hand mark. Maybe the right-hand mark is a little bit further upwind. But Paprec going for a nice wide rounding. So Alcedo Vitamina we see round first. Then Paprec and Vayu tacking at the mark. American Magic will be round in fourth. American Magic going to the right mark. On the left mark it's going to be Provezza. Gladiator and Platoon going round opposite marks at the same time. Alpha Plus then Sled and Allegra. Sled in 9th. Allegra in 11th and Phoenix in 11th as well, so interesting. But no mistaking who's leading just now, although it's super close between Alcedo Vitamina and Paprec. So then Alcedo going round the right-hand mark, looking upwind, Louise, and Paprec going round the left.
And yes, so they really went for the split there. I think for Paprec it was the right move, as they could do one maneuver less. They didn't have to jive anymore or anything, so they avoided mistakes. That's always smart to do. And Alcedo came in so hot on that port jive. Also the right shift made them like just aligned in the wave direction. They were in the lifted jive and being super hot, super fast, whilst the other boats on the port jive had to start point higher and losing meter there to Alcedo. But I think it's exactly the right thing now, going to the right side again. So they seem to be fast, they seem to understand the wind. Might be an advantage to have a local legend on board, Alfa Romeo, the Portuguese, who can maybe smell the wind a little bit better than the others who are not locals from here. So let's see if they can bring this in the finish. It would be amazing for the Italian team, so new in the series and being in a leading position here at the World Championship.
Indeed, there's big interest from the Portuguese media and local fans and friends of Alvaro. They've all been down on the dock over the last few days, asking him all about the circuit and how he expects to do. So to be able to come away even with a top 3 result would be a real feather in his cap. But still a long way to go up this second upwind.
So the upwind is 2.1 nautical miles long, but I think I will expect a drag race to the right side. So Alcedo might do maybe just one tag if they nail the ley line. They can do this. They have a super good navigator. He's very young as well. From Italy, it's an Italian tradition, he explained me, to be a navigator in Italy. So he's trying to step in the big feet of one of the super experienced older Italian navigators, and he has all the media on and all the data on his iPad and can see the ley line exactly. But that's a lot of risk, so you might want to go a little bit earlier, maybe see how you end up with Paprec to still play with them. We saw this the upwind before, what American Magic did with Provezza. That worked out really well for American Magic. And then we had this right shift at the first upwind just before the mark. Let's see if we will get this again that extreme, Andy. So still a lot of things can happen.
Indeed, we're seeing American Magic potentially up to second for the meantime. Let's have a quick look at the team lineup on board Alcedo Vitamina, our race leaders. And it's Andrea Lacorte is the owner-driver, who's come from the Swan 50, and before that the Melgis 32, super passionate owner-driver, came to the sport quite late. Cam Appleton, the tactician, Alvaro Marinho, strategist, Nicolo Sanfelice, the young navigator that Louise was just talking about, sailed previously, I think, on Quantum briefly. Luke Malloy does the runners, Arancha Malaspina, floater, Alberto Balzan from North Sails on the mainsail, Stefano Campalini and Dave Armitage, Italian and American trimmers. Dave Armitage, of course, from Doyle Sails, designs the sails for this boat and was previously sailed on the boat as Interlodge, as did Chris Brittle, as did Luke Malloy, and indeed Cam Appleton. Massimo Gherarducci as the grinder, along with the big Chris Brittle. Pablo Torrado in the pit all the way from Galicia. Giovanni Bucarelli on the mid-bow, and Matteo De Luca, the project manager, on the bow, an America's Cup bowman in his own right. And so that is the lineup on board Andrea Lacorte's race leading team.
And maybe it's a sign, because also Alcedo have a girl on board. Yes, so before we had American Magic winning the race with 2 girls on board. Now we have Alcedo with 1 girl on board. So it might be a good thing to have your lucky charm on board, Andy.
I think she's actually a very talented helmswoman, helm in her own right. I think I saw she was winning in the 5.5 metre class on their circuit. But they're quite comfortably clear. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out between Paprec, American Magic and Vayu. Really nothing between the two. Or indeed the three. What a great shot there. Working up this iconic coastline. It really is. For anyone who follows Grand Prix yacht racing regularly, this really is the mecca for big winds and big waves, and we're always working up that coastline, that road heading out to, as you see, the Praia de Guinchó, the famous surf beach, along the to the north of Cascais. Bit of a gap between
these three boats
and
here.
Platoon. You go on, Louise.
Yeah, the three boats we just saw there, Paprec, Vayu and American Magic, they really don't have a difference in speed, like perfect lineup, just next to each other, trying to go a little bit faster than the other, but there's almost nothing in speed in these boats. Incredible, Andy.
Incredible, and of course I think American Magic a little bit pinned now. They couldn't tack until they have to wait till Paprec kind of have control of the situation, don't they, Louise, at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, if American Magic would tack, they would be on starboard, so in theory, right-of-way boat. But then Vayu would undertake them, or maybe duck, but at least Paprec would try to make their life difficult and tack in front of them, so that would force them to do another tack. And we saw after the start how deadly it is to do a double tack. We saw it with Sled, they were immediately last of the fleet after the double tack. So not an easy position here for American Magic to get out of this. I'm sure strategist Victor Diaz-de-Leon is already consulting with the tactician Terry Hutchinson how to solve the situation well, and this is one of the super strengths of that team, to get out of this sandwich pin situation in the best way. So let's see how they want to win that group, because now we see a couple of groups here on the race course. Akedo's quite far ahead, so you want to look for the people around you, for the boats around you, and how you can beat them, because these are your closest competitors and you want to get boat by boat. So let's see what American Magic, what's their plan.
But it's also great to just survey this incredible racing area. There's the Optimists out racing from the club, from the marina, just to leeward off Allegra. We've got Finns out here racing. We've got J70s out here training, or Finns are out training as well. Optimists. We've got IQ foils. We've got just about everything you can think of out on a beautiful day like this. This is why Cascais is such a popular sailing club's great training venue. We said,
absolutely, and also the Immoker 60 was flying around us here somehow already, training for the ocean race. This is a great place here to host championships, important competitions. I love it. But how much is Akedo extending their lead, Andy? They are off.
I think showcasing their talents a little bit, which has got to be fantastic for all of them on board. We have a very, very talented coach in Hugh Stiles, who's coached Olympic medalists and World Championship teams.
Andy, I'm hanging on for my dear life here, going to the Upwind mark in rough conditions. I will let you know once I'm there, okay?
I'm counting the moments. Let me know you're safe. Anyway, Tony Langley on the helm of the Gladiator. They have a little bit to do. Unfortunately, chasing the pack a bit too much at the moment. Not able to impose themselves like they did in the US a year ago. So there we go, interesting watching to see how things develop with that group of 3 boats behind. American Magic tacked, and as Louise said, forced Paprec to tack. Now they're double tack and go back. At the same time, Value tack onto starboard, but I think American Magic will just, they'll cross in the end quite comfortably. Just a few meters between American Magic and Paprec. Paprec tacking, American Magic tacking, under tacking Value. Trying to squeeze up into their lee bow. Could this be to the advantage of Paprec as these two, the two quantum boats engage with each other just a little bit? We're back on board with Platoon Aviation. Platoon in the next group back, over 210 meters behind.
Andy, I made it! I'm at the Upwind mark. That was a fast and furious ride. I mean, they're incredible conditions. Big wave, 20 knots, but I'm there.
Good,
So
well
now
done.
watching the boats, actually Aikido is already super safe on ley line, probably already easing. Yeah, I can see that they already eased their main a little bit, overstood the ley line slightly, but that's not a problem because good for them. American Magic, Value and Paprec were fighting properly with each other, slowing each other down with tack. Good for Aikido, so they can allow themselves to be on a safe ley line and easing sails now to get ready for their final downwind of this day, Andy.
Indeed, well, that would be a great result for Andrea Lacorte and the team. See, he came ashore last night a little bit kind of bruised and battered mentally. He'd found it quite tough physically on the water and hard to keep things together, but he's very much in check with the conditions now. And actually, as you said, Louise, a little lift, a little right-hander, which is just helping them, as you said, just ease the mainsail down a little bit. Now that may work to American Magic's favour, may not. Certainly Paprec seemed to be a nice ley line. In the end, maybe able to eke out another couple of meters relative to American Magic, but I think we're going to see a great finale for the chase for second, third and fourth down this final run. But in the meantime, I think Andrea Lacorte's team, the Italians, can enjoy the run, squeezing all the fun out of it.
Exactly, absolutely. When you said he had an emotional day yesterday, now he did one take on the Upwind, so I'm sure he's really enjoying and loving life today, especially in this race. The first position on a World Championship, incredible.
Indeed, and then Paprec Les Bleus round the top mark in second, leading the 6 times world champions. American Magic, then Value. In the end, it's looking like a pretty solid day for the team from Thailand, Louise, a third and a fourth. You've got to be happy with that.
Oh yes, Andy, especially after probably quite frustrating day yesterday when they had to go back twice. Oh gosh, that must have been painful, so even better today. And I actually asked them, okay, why bow number 27, you know? And it's a lucky number in Thailand, so these boats, they can pick their bow numbers except of number 1 to 3. This goes with the season results they had in the season before. So Quantum Racing won, American Racing won the season last year. That's why they have bow number 1. And Tobayu has bow number 27, a lucky number for them.
Indeed, Platoon Aviation going round the bow number 2, second last year. Allegri have made a really nice recovery back up to 6th from 9th at the top mark and 10th through the lower gate, so good upwind for them. Leading Platoon Aviation round now as we jump to the race leaders. The Italian team on Alcedo, absolutely flying downwind, as they did in the previous downwind. I think the previous downwind, it almost looked like they sailed this, they came down with the same gust all the way down the course, the same wave. And look at Paprec going as well, they are so quick downwind. Fantastic. American Magic then giving chase, as indeed are Vayu. So it's interesting talking to Loic Perron about Cedric Chateau in our pre-program interview, saying that of course Cedric is a super talented match racer, a match racing helm, winning French and international titles, but he's also a big offshore sailor, and so helming for hours, indeed days at a time in trade wind conditions, racing out to the Caribbean on the solo races and double-handed races that he does. That's really what builds up your ability to sail super fast in the waves. And they have new sails, which I think are certainly adding to their speed. Certainly not losing out anything at the moment to American Magic. Interesting then, the points gap opening between Paprec and Sled. And indeed Allegri. American Magic would be 3 points clear if the positions stay the same through this finish line. Alcedo Vitamina moving up to 5th. So it just shows you, Louise, at this stage in the regatta, a good result, a win can really vault you up the regatta standings. Alcedo Vitamina were going into this race in 11th place, but as I said before we started, the points were so super close. There was only 6 points between 4th and 11th, and Alcedo Vitamina then absolutely flying. Great shots there from our drone pilots. There we go, Cameron.
Yeah, really
Cameron
nice sailing here by Alcedo.
One, Louise.
They just have to do one more jibe, Andy, and then they're already sailing to the finish line. And here now they're preparing for their jibe. Let's pray it's gonna be a good one, Andy, because then they're almost good to go in the finish direction. So American Magic is actually seeing them jibing there further behind them, but they're matching their jibe. But yes, nice jibe here executed by Alcedo. Interesting, they're using a Doyle mainsail and a Doyle jib, but a no sails Janaka. Whilst usually the other boats are on one program, you know, they're on the Quantum sail program or they're on the Norse program. But Alcedo's matches changing it up a little bit here with the Janaka. But
right.
Now they're off, Andy, almost on ley line.
That's right. It's interesting because Alberto Bolzan, who's the mainsail trimmer, is North Sails Italy, and Andrea's a big North Sails customer over the years, but at the same time Interlodge, which the boat was previously, was a long time Doyle Sails customer, and so in particular Dave Armitage, who's the trimmer on board, or one of the jib trimmers, is the designer for Doyle sales. Hence the mixed program seems to be working for them quite nicely. And of course, these companies all owned by the same parent company anyway. Now, so I think it's could we call it a friendly competition between the brands? Anyway, American Magic.
And I'm just leeward here.
Go on, Louise, yes.
Yeah, I'm just leeward here of Alcedo, and you know, Paprick is having a really good mode behind them, like really charging the waves, playing, going up and down on the waves, bows all the time up, while Alcedo is sometimes nosediving with the bow a little bit in the wave. That's the difference I see between how these two boats are sailing. So Paprick makes big gains here on Alcedo, Andy. This can be maybe still, we still have a little bit of space to the finish line. So let's see how close Paprick can still get to the Italian team, because they're making meters good.
They are indeed. An American Magic are not hanging about at all, are they? They're absolutely flying. Sitting at a slightly higher angle than Paprick. Paprick seem to have a low fast mode, which I think is as much due to their ability to pick waves and work really well with the waves, riding them for longer. But it's American Magic is still are 200 meters behind in terms of the direct distance to the finish line, but that really is nothing at these boat speeds. And as we were saying, it still is very much a learning process for the owner-driver on the Italian boat. His first time racing here in Cascais, his first time racing a TP52 in the big winds and the big waves.
On this big drone shot we have here now, there's missing Gladiator, because Gladiator was the only boat, Andy, that went for a straight jibe after the offset mark. So they were with Alpha Plus having a little bit of fights there before the upwind mark, and then Alpha Plus went straight, and Gladiator, the defending world champion in the 10th place, went for a jibe. Maybe they hoped for some magic. They tried to make some meters good with separating from the fleet, because that's for sure not the process Tony wanted to stick to.
No, it's not indeed. It's a pretty tough race for them, but plenty of action at the front of the fleet. American Magic charging downwind. The French team there, Stéphane Levy, the project manager, trimming the mainsail. Now look how the team are working together on board Alcedo. Trimmers working with the grinders, and a big win for them. Look at them coming through. Absolute jubilation for the Italian international team really on board. Andrea Lacorte's Alcedo record their first win here in Cascais, and a big win of course for the local hero Alvaro Marinho. They're just getting onto the pumps, and it will be a good second for the Paprick team, which will give them a solid second overall in the standings after day two. They look pretty happy about that one. And American Magic will come through, I think, for third. Coming through now. They will consolidate their position at the top of the table. Not still the best of races, Louise, all in all. It's solid, it's a counter, and it keeps them at the top. But they kind of let, certainly they let Paprick off the hook a little bit. But maybe something for the debrief, but I think they sailed a pretty solid day all round. As indeed have Value, who will come through for fourth. Value going 3-4 for the day. It's going to be interesting to see how far they can get themselves up the table, but I'm really super impressed with Paprick so far. 4-1-5-2. American Magic 3-2-1-3. Sled, unfortunately, are the big losers of the day. And a nice recovery there from Andy Soriano and the team Monohull. I say they were 9th at the top mark, 11th or 10th or 11th at the leeward gate with that battle with the Sled. But to come back to 5th, I think, in the end, fabulous comeback. All credit to the afterguard and the full team on board Allegra there. Platoon Aviation, in the end, not a bad day. A pair of 6ths, certainly consistent, but that's 2 6s not going to win you the world title. Brevetza through in 7th, then Sled in 8th.
Oh, drama, Andy. There's drama.
Bit of kite flogging there for,
oh my
goodness, Gladiator just getting through the finish line, just holding off Alpha Plus, and a bit of kite flogging too for Phoenix. Clearly some tussling, some scrapping going on between the two black boats, the South African boat and the British boat. Both getting in through the finish line, and just no more in the end. Actually, it'll be an 11th for the Plattner family team on Phoenix. Phoenix got a 2nd in the previous race and 11th in that race. So a little bit of a roller coaster day for the South African team. But what a fabulous day's racing, Louise, and it's still only 20 to 4 in the afternoon. You can go wing foiling now. You've got plenty of time.
What an epic
don't go
day,
too far
Andy,
now.
and so much up and down. Yeah, don't pick me up in Brazil, please. No, incredible racing today. And how many up and downs. The comeback of Allegra, the win of Alcedo, and now the drama at the finish line with like Gladiator coming in onto starboard, holding Phoenix off and stopping them for jibing, and then they jibed but super hot, so they could barely have the Jenneker still up. That's why I had to ease the sheet because their angle was actually too hot, and Phoenix was even further out and had to drive even later, so for them the angle was for sure too hot to get safely in the finish. That's why they fully eased their kite sheet, and there was the chance for Alpha Plus then still winning one boat and finishing 10s and not 11s. But wow, that was well played by the defending world champion. They jibed as the only boat. Maybe they wanted to like do some magic, and they won 2 boats at least.
So, Louise, while we're waiting for the standings to be fully computed or ratified by our race officer Maria Torrijos, let's talk about the fact that we are, in terms of the 52 Super Series 2025 season, we're pretty much at the equator. We're at the midpoint of the 5 regatta season. I think that will be tomorrow. And at the moment, well, it's American Magic with they went on the water today with a 27-point lead over Sled. Paprec hanging in there nicely in 3rd. Anyway, let's have a quick look, or a quick rundown through the regatta standings after 4 races. In the gold medal position, the American Magic Quantum Racing on 9 points, just 3 points behind our Paprec, the French team, in silver, and in bronze the American team on Sled, who dropped to 21 points, the 9-point difference. Allegra just 2 points behind, 2 points behind them. Alcedo Vitamina, who move up, I think they were 11th going into today, move up on the strength of their 9-point average for the day, 8th in the first, moving up to 5th. Then Value, also the big climbers on the table today with a 3 and a 4. The Platoon Aviation, a solid 2 pairs of 2 6s. In the 7th, Gladiator a little bit up and down, 4th and a 9th. Prevetza 10th and a 7th, would hope to do better. Phoenix in 10th, 2nd and 11th, and Alpha Plus 7th and a 10th. So that's our World Championship standings after 4 races. Say tomorrow, big day, we'll be halfway through the regatta and we'll be halfway through the season. Louise, just very briefly, your thoughts on the season. Well, actually there, as if by magic, we have the standings for this circuit. Look at that, that's fantastic efficiency from our TV team and our scorers. Anyway, American Magic are 32 points ahead, Sled in second, Paprec in third, and then through the table, Alcedo Vitamina in fourth, Platoon Aviation in fifth, Vayu in sixth, Alpha Plus seventh, Allegra in eighth, Pravetza ninth, Phoenix 10th, Gladiator 11th, Teasing Machine in 12th, who are not here, neither are Criolla, but American Magic looking good at the moment, but interesting to see how close Sled and Paprec are. And it is for these, particularly for these teams, Sled and Paprec, it's about the circuit as well. So fantastic to see these standings. I say it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow as we reach the midpoint of the regatta and the 2025 season. Thank you so much, Louise, for all your insights and exciting moments on the water. We'll see you all tomorrow. Do join us again for day 3 of the Rolex TP52 World Championship here in CASCAIS.
If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. 3, 2, 1, okay. Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. Yeah, the first step is showing up, hear them cheer. Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. We're blowing up, hear them cheer. If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another level, you are ruthless. So musical, in the club you scream. God like gaze, you're so beautiful, but you're not for me. I can't sleep lately, I'm just trying to find peace. Classic melodies, I just wanna be free. I'm sorry, darling, I can't breathe. There's no room for us, there's no room for us. I said, darling, can you see? There's no room for us, there's no room. Now our lives are changing, promises keep slipping, and I always knew it wasn't you, it wasn't you. Now our lives are changing, promises keep slipping. From a mile away, not as sleek as you think. DMs early in the AMs, I'm not Becky from the street. All this time, baby, our love was so deep.